So, und damit herzlich willkommen zur nächsten Folge.
You try the door, but it's locked from the outside. Your shouts and pleas are met with silence. You're here to slay the princess, and you won't leave until the task is done. You make your way to the bottom of the stairs. This would have been so much easier if you'd just taken the blade like you were supposed to. Easier for whom? Easier for everyone. Look at the mess you're in.
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too, didn't they?
There's a slight panic rising in the princess's voice.
If I could just get out of these chains, I know we could force our way out of here together.
She barely hesitates before raising her arm to her mouth, her teeth tearing through her limb with the determination of a trapped wolf.
Aber guckt euch mal die süßen Augen an.
She rips her flesh from her bone. A sound comes from behind you. The clang of it's the blade from upstairs. You're not sure how it made its way down here, but if there's a time to strike, it's now. Or we could use it to free her. You won't like what happens if you do that.
Jetzt haben wir die Prinzessin damit gerettet. Machen Sie gell.
Against you cut into her.
Genau.
The blade is sharp.
Ich überspringe das mal ein bisschen.
To crack through the bone of her. Her limb falls to the ground. She didn't so much.
Das hatten wir ja schon.
She didn't. She smiles softly as her gaze meets yours, blood from her wounded arm dripping rhythmically to the ground. How is she still smiling after everything? It's like she isn't even...
Thank you. Now let's get out of here.
No, we won't have any of that. The stakes are too high. You can't just let her escape into the world. No. As the princess approaches the bottom stair, your body steps forward and raises the blade.
Jetzt können wir uns dagegen wehren.
This isn't fair. You can't just do that.
Gucken, ob wir uns diesmal dagegen wehren können.
What are you doing?
Ich schlag die Prinzessin. Warne sie.
Stop that.
Something's come over you, hasn't it? You know you don't have to do this.
Your body lunges forward, the blade held low, ready to sink into her heart. But the princess dodges, stumbling back against the wall before the blade has a chance to connect. Stop it. Stop trying to resist me. I'm trying to get you out of here alive.
Oh Gott, das Warne sie ist ausgegraut. Ich lese nochmal alles. Erschlag die Prinzessin, erschlag die Prinzessin, erschlag die Prinzessin, erschlag die Prinzessin, erschlag die Prinzessin. Wehre dich ist ausgegraut, das heißt, wir können den Weg nicht nochmal gehen.
Thank you.
There's no getting through to you right now, is there? A betrayal of will is still a betrayal. You'll regret thinking of me as a helpless damsel.
Was heißt wünschen? Ich würde sagen, ich hab schon mal und deswegen darf ich nicht.
She pounces on you with the same animal ferocity she used to tear through her arm. But you have a weapon. You raise the blade, digging it under her ribs, aiming directly for the heart. It's not enough to stop her. You feel her claws in your throat, then her teeth, somehow sharp enough to pull apart your flesh and sinew with ease. You collapse to the floor, your body unresponsive as your blood pools on the ground beneath you. She stares down at your ravaged form, eyes shining in the darkness, dress stained in red as her blood and yours both seep into the fabric.
Guck, wir beide haben ihr Kleid gefärbt.
If we're lucky, the wound you managed to inflict will be enough to at least delay her escape from this place. If we're very lucky, it will kill her before she can reach the outside world. It can't just end like this. As much as I'd prefer for things to have gone differently, I can't deny the reality of what's happened. I'm sorry.
Er hat die Realität schon so oft geleugnet.
Everything goes dark.
And you die.
You die.
Die Hexe.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin.
And at the base of the cabin is a princess.
Is a princess.
Oh Gott, ich träume mittlerweile von diesen Sätzen.
You're here to slay her.
Ja.
Oh, don't you start grandstanding about morals. The fate of the world is at risk, right? If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. Brilliant. We need to keep our cards close to our chest, and I'm not sure we can trust him. You know I can hear you, right? It's going to be a lot harder than you think to keep secrets from me. Did I say I'm not sure we can trust him? Slip of the tongue, bit of the old brain fog. I meant to say that we should probably head over to the cabin and slay that princess.
Mhm.
We already know we can't trust her, so let's get on with the show. Those are two very different questions, but fine. Let's say for a moment that this really...
Okay, das hatten wir alles schon mal. Ah, nee, die Antwort von dem anderen hatten wir noch nicht.
So great. Congratulations. And I believe your other question was something along the lines of, oh, what's the point of doing anything? If you're asking that, it sounds to me like you're making the rather dangerous assumption that your actions last time around... What do you mean? Of course there weren't any consequences. We were killed by the princess and now we're... Yes, but in this purely hypothetical scenario, if it's the latter, what do you think? Do you think the people there lived happily ever after? Or do you think that the princess left unhindered? That's a very good point. This princess character seems like a lot of trouble, and if you think about it, actually slaying her probably breaks us out of this cycle, right? We don't want to be stuck here forever, do we? You're laying it on a little thick, aren't you? Laying it on a little thick? What are you talking about? I'm sharing my honest opinions. What matters is that almost everyone seems to be on the same page. So whenever you're ready, you can stop.
Wir gehen zur Hütte.
A warning before you go any further.
Sie wird
She will
lügen,
lie,
wird
she will cheat,
lügen
and she will do
und.
everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't worry, I think we've taken that lesson to heart at this point. You can trust us to get the job done. The interior of the cabin is a mess of twisted roots. The walls a chaotic weave of knotted wood that, almost as if by accident, just happened to resemble a room. The floor is damp and earthy, and the only furniture of note is a slab of mud in the shape of a
Guck
shelf
mal, in dieser Runde ist uns
with
mein
a
Spiegel
pristine
egal.
blade perched on its edge. The blade is your implement. Very different. Maybe that's because you haven't actually been here. I hope this means you'll finally drop that ridiculous past life nonsense. You haven't died, and you certainly haven't been killed by the princess. So focus up.
Nur jetzt die Klinge mit oder nicht?
No blade. Leaving it behind didn't work out so well for us last time. It'll always be here if we need it. Sure, that was also true last time and we still died, but we definitely know what we're doing this time.
Der Spiegel ist gleich despawned, war mir klar.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase dug into the muddy earth below. The ceiling is thick with roots that hang like locks of tangled hair. The weak starlight from the cabin windows behind you can barely penetrate the gloom here, only illuminating the edges of an opening below. It shines in the darkness like some kind of massive maw, waiting to swallow you up into the earth. The air smells of dirt and copper. It's thick and wet, as if your lungs are being coated in mud with each intake of breath. If the princess lives here, slaying her would probably be doing her a favor. Her voice skitters up from below.
Something nasty finds itself on my stairs. Come on down. Don't be scared. I probably won't bite.
Wahrscheinlich auch nicht.
But you are. You're a wretched little thing.
Hey.
I recognize that voice as easily as I recognized your nervous little footsteps coming up the path. I know who you are, and I remember what you've done.
See? She knows us. Is this enough for you to believe what we've been saying? Maybe, but you shouldn't let that cloud your judgment. She's just a princess. As long as you remember that and remain focused, slaying her will be easy. She seems friendly enough. We can talk our way out of this whole situation. You can't. Unless you slay her right away, she's going to break free and end the world. There's no reasoning with what she is. Look, I'm just throwing ideas out there. I like to think out loud. I'm the kind of guy who likes a discussion. Don't we want to hear what everyone has to say before making any big decisions? Do you want to hear what everyone has to say? Or do you just want to hear yourself talk? You need to stop lingering. Your task is to slay the princess, not endlessly debate about what to do with the princess. Fine, fine. You're the boss.
Nein, ich bin der Boss. Hallo?
Thank you.
Gott.
You descend the basement steps, entering the dark room below.
Jedes Mal, wenn wir uns im Spiegel beobachtet, hatten wir leicht animalisches Aussehen. Jetzt hat sie ein leicht animalisches Aussehen. Also nur so ganz leicht. Ich weiß nicht, was mich darauf schließen lässt.
You can just make out the shape of the princess in the gloom. She's huddled against the far wall, her eyes bright and glaring from amid the thick roots.
And there you are, once again seeming to offer a helping hand while likely hiding the other behind your back. Fine, I'll play along for now. What do you want?
She's acting like she already knows you. I guess what you said back in the woods really was true. That's pretty sharp. How'd you figure that one out? Call it deductive reasoning. Well, you seem to be great at it. So, you really don't remember us, do you? No, I don't. But you and the princess clearly have a shared reality, even if I'm not a part of it. I won't waste time fighting you on something that's clearly true. You fought us on it back in the woods. That was when the only perspectives we had were yours and mine. I'm just glad we could put all this behind us. Is it all behind us? Just focus on the task at hand. I don't care if you've been here before, and I don't care if you think you'll go somewhere else after this. My world is on the line right now, so I'd appreciate it if you would take this seriously and slay her.
Wir kommen gar nicht mehr zu reden. Die diskutieren nur zu dritt. Sie waren auch ganz gemütlich.
Let's chat her up a bit first. Maybe we can find a middle ground where everyone's happy. Don't talk to her. You're just going to make things more difficult than they have to be.
Well, I seem to remember you having a tongue.
Das stimmt. Fehler. So ein ganz kleiner Fehler war das nur. Das Gefühl, du bist unzufrieden mit mir. Oh, ich weiß nicht, ob ich sowas los finde. Ich bin unbewaffnet, das ist ein Geist. Das ist gut, vielleicht können wir. Jetzt so, ich verstehe dich. Aber ich glaube.
Is that a joke? Do you think a joke will charm my trust back? You'll have to try harder than that.
Ich fand das lustig.
You came to me with empty hands last time, too. But that didn't mean you hadn't been plotting something nasty all along. What you did showed me as much.
Ich hatte das nicht im Sinn, das wurde mir, ich konnte mich da nicht wehren.
But we didn't
Ich hab's
plot
versucht.
anything. We just made an informed decision based on the information we had at the time. I think you're both making perfectly valid points. Sure, we didn't plot anything, but it's easy to see how she might think we did. Oh, smart. Let's apologize, get us back on the right foot.
Oh, you're sorry. Isn't that nice? You're such a gracious little monster. If you're sorry, then let me out of here. Prove it. I suppose you didn't come into my hovel of your own accord, did you? All right. I suppose I could team up. I need a way out after all. And unfortunately, you're the only one I have.
Mhm.
Seems to me like she's offering a mutually beneficial arrangement. We should take it. Do you know what the word mutually means? Because it sounds to me like she's offering an arrangement that benefits her and her alone.
Jetzt seine Lösung dient hauptsächlich, glaube ich, nur ihn.
Oh, I don't need you to cut me out.
The princess grins as the chains fall.
Warum
from
macht sie
her
das
wrist.
nicht gleich?
She could have gotten out of those the whole time. That sneaky little... A woman after my own heart, really. She knows how to hold her cards close to her chest. This is why she can't just be abandoned here. If left to her own devices, she'll find a way out. Now stop her.
Yes, let's.
She creeps forward, taking one cautious step at a time until you and she are face to face.
Sie tötet uns.
She never breaks
Okay.
eye contact, even as the two of you find yourselves face to face. She's silent for a long moment, as if testing to see what you'll do now that she's within arm's reach.
After you, darling. You're the one it lets come and go. It's best if I follow.
Oh no,
Okay.
we can't have that. If anyone is going to turn their back on anyone else, she's going to turn her back on us. It shouldn't matter who leads and who follows. We're working together here. Well, if it doesn't matter, then she can go first. We may be in this together, but that doesn't mean we have to trust her. Somebody has to go first, and it might as well be us. We're the ones who broke her trust last time. You're talking a lot about trusting someone who, by her very definition, cannot be trusted. I don't know how many more warnings I have to dole out, but if you help her out of here, you're going to regret it.
And turn my back on you? Do you think me a fool? You're
Just go first.
Okay, wir gehen einfach vor. Wir gehen die
That's
Klo.
right. You're the one who's going first. Don't worry, I'll be right behind you watching every single thing you do.
That's exactly what I'm worried about. You step onto the stairs and begin your ascent from the basement. The princess follows close on your heels, perhaps even a little closer than you'd like. You're only saying that because you want us to feel nervous. I do want those things, but I want them for a good reason. I don't need you to trust me for my sake, because I already know that I'm right. This is for you.
Schön, dass er weiß, dass er recht hat. Und wir wissen, dass er nicht recht hat und er sagt uns ja auch nicht, inwiefern sie das Ende der Welt bedeutet. Also.
Can we walk backwards up the stairs? I think that's the smarter idea. She can't sneak in and attack if we're facing her. No. The stairs are a bunch of overgrown roots. You'll trip and hurt yourself. But the princess is silent as you both continue the climb, and in no time at all, the upstairs of the cabin is within reach. Isn't that a relief? We're fine. Nothing happened. You're not even going to wait until you're through that door to proudly claim your victory, are you? Why did you just say that? I think we know why. You feel something dig into your shoulder, sharp and piercing. The princess clawing at you and pulling you down with her full weight. Together you tumble back down the uneven stairs, your body and hers crashing against the unyielding wooden roots, until finally you both separate with a bone-shaking thud against the basement floor. feel something pop. The princess lands against the far wall, gasping as she struggles to recover from the impact. You're still in shock, trying to get a hold of yourself. She grins as you continue to remain exactly where you are, cackling derisively as she watches you realise that you won't be getting up. Wait, why won't we be getting up? I'm afraid your back is broken. One unlucky fall is all it takes, really, and you had several. You know what? I'll say it. That sucks. I don't like having a broken back. We were going to help her. Why? Why did she do that? It's what I would have done. Have you considered not being like that? Of course not. It's what keeps us alive. And yet here we are, paralysed and stuck with someone who hates us in the basement of a remote cabin.
You must have known this was coming. The arrogance of turning your back to me after everything you've done. Oh, I broke your back, did I? You were the one who started this little game. You were the one who chose spite and violence and conflict. If not for your betrayal, I could have had my freedom a lifetime ago. But I'm the victor now, and that means I get to select my prize. If only I could decide which is better. Do I kill you with my own hands? Or do I let you suffer the way you decided to let me suffer? Maybe I'll do a bit of both.
See, this is why I wanted her to go first. I had this whole little scheme planned, where once she'd passed by the table upstairs, I'd have said, now pick up the blade and stab her in the back. And then you'd say something like, wow, that's an amazing idea that I never saw coming. Thanks for looking out for us. And then you would have done it and we wouldn't be stuck down here with a broken back. There's just one problem with that. And what's that? She was clearly planning to betray us. And if she was in front of us, she would have gotten to the blade first. Ugh, you're right, aren't you? I thought this whole thing was ironclad, but really it was doomed from the start, wasn't it? The princess's body twitches as she tries to get up. Ho ho ho! So she's got it as bad as us.
It seems you're not the only one who's broken.
Wait, are we both just stuck here? Certainly seems that way. What a way to go. But look on the bright side. In all this chaos, you may have actually managed to deliver a lethal wound. The world could be saved after all.
We're going to die together. Isn't that a lovely treat? I wonder how long it'll take. Maybe I'll get to watch the worms lick your bones clean.
Is that really what's going to happen? Hello? Are you still there? I think he's gone.
Something strange is twisting this place out of shape. I wasn't feeling much of anything, but now I feel cold.
Das war schon? Krass. Hätte jetzt nicht gedacht.
She's gone. Where did she go? Is that a mirror? Why is it here? Why? What is that supposed to mean? Whatever awful thing I felt before, it feels so much worse now. You better watch your back. You can't get rid of me that easy.
Doch. Das war so schnell ging. Der Durchlauf. Interessant. Durch den Spiegel. Was innen ist. Du bist rein gar nichts. Aber das ist nicht wahr. Du kannst nicht nix sein. Du schaust genauer hin und da siehst du sie. Eine Gestalt, schwache, hinter dem Spiegel.
I think you know what I am.
Der Erzähler? Ich glaube. Was? Ein Sprung und noch einer und ich schon gefragt, ob ich Sicht bekomme. Was bist du? Bist du so wie ich?
The narrator. Yes. I suppose that's my job, isn't it? You needed help after all. An objective voice to guide your blade. But you were never supposed to see me. I wonder how many worlds you've damned to extinction to fall this far.
Ich habe eine begrenzte Anzahl. Scheiße. Wenn du nicht ich bist, was bist du dann?
I'm an echo. Likely one of many. Somebody made you after all, and I'm what's left of him. Not that I'm the only one who can make that claim. I'm sure you've met many others like me.
Oh Gott, und warum ist das immer so laut? Ich habe so viel
Then ask them, and make it quick. I won't last for long now that you can see me.
Oh Gott, das ist umsonst. Sie werden Teile von dir abbrechen. Es tut mir leid, ich wollte dich nicht zerstören, aber es hilft mir nicht. Ich schaue offen, Fragen zu stellen. Ich mag den Erzähler nicht wirklich.
I'm aware, and if I were you, I'd be more precious about your time.
Ja gut, hast recht. Das war ziemlich dumm.
I haven't, and that's by both necessity and design. This construct you're in exists in many places at once. Anytime you failed, anytime you thought yourself dead, it would restart and shunt both your consciousness and hers into another world. But you'll be awake soon, and then it won't be able to work like that anymore.
Gott, ich will eigentlich alle Fragen stellen.
Any other version of me you talked to was just that, a version of me. It wasn't me. As to why they lied, perhaps they thought that admitting to it would have pushed you to certain realizations that would have made finishing your task impossible. Maybe they were just in denial. I'm sure many of them were convinced that they had to be the first version of them you'd encountered. Anything else would have been too existentially unpleasant. For all I know, each of those other versions of me could have had entirely different understandings of how this construct works. Who's to say which of them are right and which of them are wrong, really? Except for me, I can tell you for a fact that I'm right. Her nature is to become what others perceive her to be. If you actually knew what she was, if you knew her capabilities, a single intrusive thought could have instantly ended the entire world. No, I'm not a part of you. But that's all a matter of perspective, isn't it? From one vantage point I must seem wholly foreign, but from another, well, all the versions of me that have existed have collectively heard your every thought and driven your every action. If that isn't being part of you, then what is?
Ich habe gerade ein ganz anderes Bild vom Erzähler. Irgendwie. Also seine Versionen, die wir durchlaufen hatten, kann ich immer noch nicht leiden, aber der hier ist irgendwie anders als die anderen.
Soon I'll be gone entirely, and you'll be left alone with your final choice. So allow me to make my final request. The princess contains death itself within her, but I wove you into being with all the power you need to destroy her forever. Do it. Slay her, and rid the world of death and suffering.
Gott.
You never were. You are the long quiet, the god I made to rid the world of death. For a time, this construct could help you approximate being alive, confining your mind to a single reality. But you've experienced far too many lives for it to work much longer. Are you lying? I can't tell. But I've said my piece, and my time is up. It's like I said, I'm just an echo, and echoes always fade away. You know what you have to do.
Bisschen tut's mir um den Erzähler leid. Du bist lange Stille. Okay, letztes Mal zur Hütte. Oh Gott, und wir sind schon bei 31 Minuten. Diese Folge wird Überlänge haben. Letztes Gefäß, die Geschichte. Es gibt nichts für dich zu finden.
I can finally see you, and you can finally see me. It's been so long, and my heart has ached for this moment. I've missed you dearly. Every word you spoke found its way to me. I know him, and I know his construct. He was deluded by his fear of death. Pay him no mind. Names are their attempts to capture that which cannot be captured. They call me the shifting mound, a pale imitation of what I actually am. Ever the passive player, always reacting and never acting. But it's woven into your nature, isn't it? When the echoes spun us from one into two, he gave you a choice and me a role to play. I am not death, but I contain it in my multitudes. So, will you attempt to destroy me and bring about a world devoid of death and the possibility of meaning? Or will you open the final doors to our liberation?
So viele Geschichten. Hast du denn alle? Warum?
Of course I have a say in all of this. You and I share reflections of each other's burdens, just as you and I share reflections of each other's gifts. If we didn't, the winding paths that brought us here wouldn't have been full of strife and conflict. Even as your eyes begin to open, You still hold on to the notions of is and is not, of beginning and end. Pitch black islands in the blinding light of the infinite. There is nothing to resolve. Nothing.
Ich habe so viele Fragen, ich brauche Antworten, bevor ich eine Entscheidung treffe.
My very nature is paradox, as is yours. You cannot use words to grasp at things that are beyond their reach, and you cannot rationalize that which defies logic. But violence and passion are dances that both of us know well. If this is what it takes to enlighten you, then so be it. A trick behind your back and a trick behind mine. We dance, revolving and revolving around each other, but forever stuck in place. We both move, and yet we both don't. For each of us watches the other instead of ourselves. But forever is not forever. I move and you react, and both of us break the other. But broken is only a moment in time. To change is to hold the potential to rise above. Would you limit yourself to what you are now? Or would you like to see what you might become tomorrow?
Wenn ihr gerade mein Gesicht sehen würdet, ne?
Oh, is it not? Perhaps you can enlighten me. This torrent of blades catch you from boundless angles. You are a body. You are gory ribbons. You are a body. And you feel all of it. On it goes until your bodies are not your thoughts, are not you. Alive, dead, alive, dead, alive, dead, then alive. You learn to put yourself away, and in your stillness you rose above me. You died countless steely deaths, and you lived countless short lives, and yet it is all so far behind you. I pushed. Nothing brings me greater joy than to hear those words. The final
das wollte ich
peace
jetzt gar
lies
nicht.
with you.
Oh Gott, ich habe gerade vergessen, dass ich das vorlesen muss. Man hat vorgelesen und das war richtig für mich vorgelesen. Du spürst deine Flügel, die den Kosmos umspannen. Sie sind verdreht und verkrümmt an den qualvollen Spannungen. Wie das Konstrukt dich von Warte.
I love you.
Was?
It's magnificent. Everything, just like it always has been.
tausende Abenddämmerung und jede von ihnen eine weitere. Spürst deine Existenz, dein Bewusstsein, du bist so, wie du immer warst und immer sein wirst. Seht alle in eurer Natur, doch ihr werdet niemals allein sein und niemals Angst kennen. Ihr seid endlich zu Hause. So wie es aussieht, war das wohl das Ende des Spiels. Ich klicke hier mal ein bisschen schneller durch. Wahrscheinlich gibt es noch ein anderes Ende, wenn wir weitergekämpft hätten. Aber dieses Ende werde ich euch nicht zeigen. So böse bin ich. Vielen Dank, dass du unser Spiel gespielt hast. Eine Zeichen eurer Dankbarkeit findest du hier. Für Playlist. Ich wollte einen Screenshot. Ich mache einfach mit. Ich mache einfach mit dem Handy Bildschirm haben. Zack. Das Spiel nun das erste Mal abgeschlossen hast die Galerie freischaltet. Du kannst über das Hauptmenü Spieler Erinnerungen findest du mehr, die dir helfen, weitere Gefäße und Interaktionen zu entdecken. Ich sag doch, es gibt noch weitere Gefäße. Ja, fortsetzen kann man nicht wirklich was machen. Oh Gott, hier wollte ich nicht hin. Zurück. Ah, hier. Erinnerung. Oh Gott, es gibt doch ja so viel. Es gibt ja noch so viel. Ja, es... Die Fremde. Die Hexe. Zweikampf stirbt elendig durch die Hand einer aggressiven Gefangenen. Erschlage sie ohne zu zögern. Werde von einer animalischen umgebracht. Befreien aggressive Gefangene. Du brauchst mehr. Kannst du weilen. Engel und Dämon. Kann mit glücklichen leisten. Töten. Du etwas von dir rauschen. Schlimmste das Gefängnis. Viele Gründe, warum Geister. Okay, wir wählen das irgendwo. Ich will es nur einmal ganz kurz anklicken. Wenn ich jetzt da. Seid doch, passiert nichts. Da können wir denn. Ja, das sind die ganzen Wege, die wir auch hätten gehen können dabei. Also wie ihr seht, das ist eigentlich so gut wie ein... Oh, hier haben wir ganz viel mitgemacht. Es ist so gut wie ein endloses Spiel. Hier haben wir alles hinbekommen. Oh, vielleicht ging es auch da nicht anders. Haben wir hier noch... Zack, zack, zwei blieben uns hier verschlossen. hier überhaupt alles? Nö, hatten wir nicht. Ich Trottel. Hatten wir auch hier nicht geschafft. Aber fast. Aber ich sag, das wäre das andere gewesen, wenn wir... Hier in Augen... Okay. Ende von allem. Hätte auch alles anders ablaufen können. Wie gesagt, das ist ein Spiel, was endlos weitergehen könnte. Gerade ist mein OBS im Hintergrund. Warte, ich muss das gerade nach vorne holen. Ich will noch ganz kurz sagen, es ist ein Spiel, das geht noch in allen Richtungen, wie ihr gerade seht, was wir auch noch alles machen können. Wie wir uns da über noch alles entscheiden können. Ich würde es nicht machen, wir haben es jetzt einmal durchgespielt, sage ich. In einer Art und Weise. Ich hoffe, ich konnte euch das Spiel schmackhaft machen. Ich werde jetzt wahrscheinlich privat nochmal vielleicht 2 Durchgänge machen. Aber ich glaube, es wird Zeit, dass wir ein neues Let's Play an dieser Stelle anfangen. Wow, ich habe in der Aufnahme heute Cineworld beendet und Slay the Princess. Ich bin ein bisschen stolz auf mich. Vielleicht werden wir dann Cineworld 2 bringen und anstatt Slay the Princess werde ich mir ein anderes Horror-Game suchen oder vielleicht Wolfenstein. Aber Wolfenstein habe ich überlegt, privat zu spielen. Wir werden es sehen. Bis zum nächsten Mal.